The Twilight Forest is a beautiful place with towering trees and flourishing fauna, but don't let that distract you from what it hides in the shadows, the evils and dangers that lurk in this dimension. By some unknown scenarios, I as a Demon Slayer am stuck in this dimension with no way out, except for one way. This dimension is ruled by its 7 overseers, the Naga, the Twilight Lich, the Minnow Shroom, the Hydra, the Urghast, the Alpha Yeti, and the Snow Queen. To escape, I have to defeat them all, primarily only using my Nichiren blade. To make matters worse, this is hardcore. If I die for good. Can I defeat this challenge? Tune in to find out. I started off by gathering my necessary equipment and finding out my breathing technique. After handling my sword, I discovered that I'm a moon breathing user. Although moon breathing gives me high damage output, I don't have any speed type breathing forms, which might be tough for me in critical situations, but we move. I continue out gathering wood, mining stone, cooking food, iron, all the important regular Minecraft things, and hey, there you go, I found diamonds and lapis. Being stuck with the Demon Slayer equipment, I had to make it as strong as possible for the later bosses. Enchanting was a high priority for me. Here's the game plan. Obsidian and diamonds can easily be found in any one of the caves, but the main problem is the necessary bookshelves, which brings us to the Lich. Through insider knowledge or the Wikipedia, I'd found that the Lich's tower has bookshelves, and tons of them, which only gives us access to tier 3 enchantments after the Lich, the second boss. I then started raiding these houses for XP and loot, broke spawners, open chests, broke spawners, open chests, and mostly only found food. Almost died once. I had my headphones off, but thankfully I shielded it in the nick of time. I crafted a diamond pickaxe and gathered obsidian and more diamonds for the enchanting table. I then decided enough was enough. The Naga is the weakest boss, and I thought I can handle it, so I went looking for his place. But hey, while we look, can I interest you in a Reddit story?
My mom just told me that I better cheat.
After searching, I had finally found the place. Let's do this. I climbed up the Naga's maze and went right through it. My game plan was to shield and hit only using my breathing form, minimizing the damage. The Naga was battering me quite a bit, but I easily shook off the damage. Hit per hit, I charged in one last time and hit it straight with my final form. It was over. I had won. 6 more to go. I continued my journey to leveling up and raided these cave hill-like things. Got some ore, XP, obsidian. I would show you, and I know how this sounds, but I didn't press record, okay? I'm sorry. I'll do better. I'm sorry. I then started mining obsidian. Look at this zombie. You know how hard it takes to mine obsidian? And he's hitting me. What? I then created somewhat of a base camp before I fight the Lich. I then started creating the enchanting table. I just wanted to give my gear some base enchantments before we get level 30, and I'll just grindstone them away. And with that, I was ready to fight the Lich, the second boss. I then went on my journey placing torches just in case, so I wouldn't get lost. I broke in the tower and went in. I started clearing the tower with mobs. And then I stopped the recording and forgot to continue it. Guys, I promise I'm not cheating. I'm sorry. This will be the last time. Using my sword, I deflected the Lich's attack and broke his shields. After that, I slowly started wearing him down. The Lich's explosions are deadly, so I had to be careful. While fighting, I accidentally fell down the stairs. Charging in one last time, I knew the Lich was weak. Time to strike. Another one down. 5 to go. I then started mining the bookshelves in the castle. Isn't this kind of satisfying to watch the sound? It's like bubble wrap, something. I then ender pearled out of the castle because I was too lazy to go down all the way. Found this cool staff the Lich gave me. It gives me shields like the Lich. It's pretty cool. Look how sick I look. I then continued my quest to gather more XP. On this journey, I went mining in caves, broke spawners in the Lich's castle, and even went back mining again. It was all going well. A little too well. Take 2, ready, set, go! I did basic Minecraft stuff, I don't need to tell you, you already know. Let's just get this over with. After doing Minecraft things, I went to take down the first boss. Climbed in and went straight into it. After a couple of my strongest forms, it was no match. Next was the Lich. I first broke all the spawners, and went straight into it, breaking his shield with his own attacks. After his shield was broken, I went right in, hitting him with all my strength. He was defeated in no time. I then gathered bookshelves for the level 30 enchant, and we were back. My quest for gathering XP was back on. Whether it was killing mobs or mining, I did all I could to gather the experience I needed. I didn't really learn my lesson, because I was still going rather carelessly. But I knew I couldn't die a second time. Raiding a couple Lich's towers, I broke their spawners for more XP. I then went to the caves to gather the diamonds I needed for my enchanting table, and got quite a lot actually. The next step was to gather obsidian. After trying my best to find them in caves or Lich's towers, after spending hours looking for more obsidian, I remembered that there was free obsidian everywhere. It was these dumb, stupid pillars that I had forgotten about. After mining, I set camp, crafted my enchanting table, and I also set up the bookshelves around it. I wasn't going to keep cycling for enchants, but I did get some pretty decent ones. I then went back to the caves to grind more experience. After killing a bunch of mobs and gathering the experience I needed, I left the cave. I enchanted my helmet and my boots, and I was finished. With all my enchantments, it was time. Time to go boss hunting. I then rode a random boar in search of a boss. My boar died along the way, but I eventually found the Minnow Shroom's lair. His labyrinth was very tricky, which left me lost for quite a couple of hours, but I eventually found his area. I made sure the surroundings were all safe before I proceeded. I then went in, breaking the barriers that held him. I popped a golden apple and went in. I rained down arrows to weaken him before he got close. This felt like an easy fight. He couldn't get through the barrier, and I could just keep shooting and hitting him within range. I kept cheesing him to assure my easy victory. But unbeknownst to me, he could break blocks and destroyed the barrier. I knew I had to get in close and use my strongest forms against him. He was weak. I charged in one last time. Victory was mine. 5 more to go. After the boss, I then built my way out of the labyrinth. And mined out, because it's a long labyrinth, okay? I then rebuilt my enchanting table to see if I could get some decent enchants on my sword. I did not. But as I continued adventuring, I then found the ice biome, home to 2 bosses, in which I easily found the first one, the Yeti. I wasted no time and went right inside. Lining up along the way, I made my way to the center. As the Yeti spawned, I backed away and then striked. Although he slowed me and tossed me, he was no issue. Comboing with my sword and axe, I was able to deal quick damage. Continuing that same movement even after getting hit, I finally killed him. I then set up another enchanting table, and even made a grindstone to try and get better enchantments. I sorted my stuff, got some blocks just in case, and went along my way to find the Snow Queen. As I was building up, I forgot my bucket. It's really important. Never underestimate the importance of a bucket, alright? Now let's go. Elsa's castle was a lot. It had a lot of parkour, mobs, and loot. And it was very confusing. As I went through, I got quite lazy and tried to cheat, and almost died. I kid you not, I had a heart attack. Look at me, I'm standing still. I'm shocked. Whew. Thank God. But if you know me, I never learned my lesson, so I kept traversing outside. Using the roofs, I tried to enter the buildings and find the boss. And it took a while, until eventually I finally found it. I traversed upstairs to face the boss, and it was on. Elsa was quite a weird boss, just floating around, putting snowflakes, but I used my 6th form and eventually got her down. Honestly, Elsa just kept floating there. Maybe she wanted to get stopped, so I granted her wishes. I guess we can say the snow never bothered me anyway. I then went back to the Yeti's cave to continue grinding experience to enchant a bow. After I got level 30, I went on my way. I got infinity on my bow, packed my stuff, and went on to the next boss. I had 2 more bosses left, or so I thought. As I entered the Urghast's lair, I was deemed unworthy. Before entering the Urghast, I had to beat a mini-boss. Using the Naga head, I opened the gates. This place was huge, with new mobs, spawners, and so much more. It honestly took me quite a while to find the boss's room, as it's a labyrinth, is what it's supposed to do. But after a while, I found the boss's room. As they were just mini-bosses, I made quick work of them. I quickly destroyed the phantoms, got the trophy, and got along my way. Quickly after, I then went to the Urghast's lair. This was another giant structure, in which I kinda cheesed some of the obstacles, but that's fine, it's thinking outside the box. I may be too dumb to know the way, but how smart am I for making one? Continuing through this structure, I found an anvil and added sharpness to my Nichiren blade. I then eventually found a tower key. Then I found out what it was used for. And I need 3 more? Are you kidding me? I tried to look for any other way other than to find these 3 keys, because I'm not looking all over this tower just to find 3 more keys for this damn game. And eventually, after a lot of thinking, I came up with a solution. Pistons. These pistons would break the size of the gate so I can get in. Dude, you gotta admit, I'm kinda smart for thinking of that. Come on, give it to me. Give it to me. There's another 4-key gate? Dude, I don't want to hear anything from any of you guys, because I don't want to be looking around all these structures. I've been looking around so many labyrinths, so much mazes, so much structures, all for nothing, and I'm tired. I eventually got to the top of the tower and reached the Urghast's area. And boy, this is a confusing boss fight. The Urghast is the first free-range flying boss we're gonna fight. As I kept shooting my arrows, I realized they were doing no damage. And I got really confused. The Urghast was damaging me quite a bit. It even broke my boots. I then paused and figured out how to fight and kill him. Let's continue. It was quite simple actually. I had to use the machine powered by his babies to attract him and deal damage. As he got closer, I went all in using my bow, my sword, and every form. I then ran to the other side, as the other side had a working machine with its ghasts to power it up. This was a scary walk, because one hit and I go straight down, and I don't know how I'm gonna get up. To power the fuel, I had to kill the mini gas. His fireball broke the machine, which means I had to quickly put a pressure plate to activate it once again. I sucked him in and gave him everything I had. He was going down, whether he liked it or not. I lit him up for every sense of the word. And to my luck, the machine charged up again in the same location. This was it, the final round. And as he was close, I swung my sword and dealt the final blow. I had won. My journey almost comes to a close. One boss left. I gather my trophy and Ender Pearl out of the tower. The Urghast left me battered and bruised. With broken boots and a nearly broken helmet, I knew I had to re-gear up. With the ghast's fiery tears and iron, I combined them to create fiery ingots. And with those fiery ingots, I created boots. With my remaining experience, I enchanted my boots and repaired my helmet. And with that, I was ready. Ready to finish everything. Marching forward, I went to find the Hydra's lair. With the help of a pig, I reached the fiery swamp. And there it was, the Hydra, just beyond this hill, our final destination. I then marched towards the den. This was it. Do or die. As prepared as I was, I went in. And there, face to face with the Hydra. I started off the battle using snow bombs to slow him down. Going in close, I shot him with my bow. But his fire was relentless. If this broke any of my armor, I was done. I needed to gain distance and use my bow. But I also wanted to hit him hard with my sword, but I soon found out it wasn't working at all. I once again prioritized distance, but his attacks reached no matter what. It was a battle of sheer firepower, but as I kept shooting, I realized it did no damage. With my bow, I had to get him close. Tried my sword again for good measure, but fell in a hole. Once I was within range, I finally took down a head. But soon more would spawn. He was at his most dangerous and had to finish the job. And with that, I took down 2 more heads. I thought maybe my sword would work now, but it didn't. I then shot the finishing arrow. The arrow to end it all, to finally go back home. But it got deflected, so I shot another one. And with that, the Hydra was defeated. The Twilight Forest has been conquered. I have won. As the smoke ends, the final trophy of the crown is mine. And that was how I survived Twilight Forest as a demon slayer. I went back to the forest to finally escape, laying down each trophy, seeing how far I've come, every enemy I've defeated, and every journey I've done. The story ends here. It's time to say goodbye.